Welcome to the Longest Term Board Gaming Podcast. This is episode 52, Top 5 New to Us Games of 2023. My name is Tyler.
Hello, this is Kevin.
This is Tyson.
In this episode, we're going to talk about some of the games we've played lately, and then we'll go through each of our top 5 games that were new to us in 2023.
There's a lot of good games in 2023.
Yeah.
It was tough to narrow it down to 5 for me.
Yeah.
It was,
And
for me as well.
Yes. Like,
Very, very interesting.
thank you, Tyler. And how about you, Tyson?
Also true. Yes. Good job.
We've had a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, we have.
Last time we recorded, we were up at Cabin Con almost a month ago.
That wasn't a month ago.
Almost.
Get out of town.
It was. And we recorded in our modified studio up there, and
Actually, it worked out really well,
I was impressed by the sound quality.
Yeah, I
actually.
thought
it did it
turned out pretty good.
I kind of wish we'd record there all the time, really. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, way better than the Krampus blanket I've been staring at.
It's thematic for the time of year.
actually
but
took
it's there all the time.
Exactly.
I'm going to post this on our Twitter. I actually took a picture of this table before I started setting up and then after with the mics going. There were about 12 stacks of games, about 1.5 feet high. Hadn't been used to record for a while. So
Yeah. That's what my game room looks like all the time now.
yeah, I'm trying.
It's a problem at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to cull, but I'm also trying to reorganize.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got stuff everywhere. Plus, games are always flooding in.
I've
Yeah.
been debating doing more culling on my own stuff and just like
Do you have enough games to cull?
I have plenty of games, but
He
I also
got up to 70 this year.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I've got lots of games. I've got over like almost 200 games.
Okay.
And I think I want to kind of have a very small but curated collection.
Yeah.
But the hard part, I think, about doing that is figuring out what to do with the games that I no longer think I want to keep in my collection.
And that nobody else wants.
yeah,
right? That's
especially those ones.
right?
Yeah, ones that people would want, but not necessarily want to pay in shipping somewhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if there were a way to do like a flea market right here and people were interested enough to, I'd be like, yeah, take that one, $5, whatever. Here's one, $10, whatever.
There's some local people that have organized some stuff. But it's kind of hard to know when they're going to do it, or you're going to some weird person's house, or it's a little bit weird. I have maybe 200 games I could cull. At this point,
I don't want to know how many I have.
Yeah, right.
It's up there.
Yeah, so it definitely needs to happen.
But speaking of new games this year, I played 104 new games. How many did you guys have to narrow your selection down from?
So I believe I was, and this is just games, not BGA games, but it was around 75, I think.
Okay.
I think that was the number for me.
I did
We're close to there.
I did exclude BGA games, and I'm 76
Okay.
new
Nice.
games to me.
I think if I excluded my BGA, it took me down to the 70s as well. So we're all kind of on the same.
That's a lot of new games to learn, a lot of new games to play.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome. I mean, I love learning new games.
I do too. And one recently in particular, Barrage. Man,
Are you liking that one?
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I've played it probably 10 times, and sometimes I feel that way too.
Well, I don't know how to build buildings.
Yeah.
I built a couple buildings in the first round or two.
Yeah.
And now I can't figure out how to do it again. And
Well,
I'm like, okay, before the end of this game,
Rotate that wheel.
I'm going to read the rules
Yeah.
and figure the sucker out.
Yeah, you tie up your action selection tile on the wheel until you can rotate it all the way through, and then you can take that action again.
Where's the wheel?
Yeah.
No, I've seen the wheel.
What we really need to do is play this thing on the table. If only somebody had it. Okay, I have it. Let's play it on the table.
We can't figure out a night that we're all
It's so busy this time.
available to play. It's been
Every
the last
year.
couple of weeks. We haven't even played a game night since Cabin Con.
No. So my girls are doing Nutcracker. They've got performances all the time, and it's just that time of
Holiday
year.
work parties.
Yep, I got a work
other
party tomorrow.
parties,
Yeah.
neighbors and friends and family and all that. It's
All this holiday
Halo.
joy is getting in the way. Halo, which has been awesome.
Yeah, it has been. They've really stepped it up.
Oh yeah, it's great. We could go on about Halo for a while, but let's get it back to board games here.
All right, so should we jump into what we've been playing lately? Because
Let's do it.
while we haven't gotten together for game nights, we've still been playing some games on our own.
Yeah.
We have. I got to play some games with my family, which is always a good time. A lot of times we play games that are a little bit quicker to play and more of the party style. And this game I'm going to talk about is definitely one of those, and it's called The Table is Lava. This is very unique, this game. So it came out in 2018. It was designed by James Skoke. Art is done by Brandon Lewis and Jennifer Vargas, and it's published by R&R Games. Okay, the art is, I guess, not my favorite.
It's not winning any awards.
No, it's not winning any awards. But it's very functional. I guess I'll say that. So the way this game works is you have meeples and then you have a hand of cards. So you have a certain color of meeples. The cards that you have your meeples on them, and then some of them have another color of another player's meeple on them. You have a start card. You put that start card in the center of a table, and however many people are playing, the rule is you have to overlap your card with somebody else's card. Okay. You put your colored meeple on that card, and then you put another meeple. I think you count 2 cards away from you, and you put your meeple on that card. So your meeples are kind of, all over different cards to start the game. When it's your turn, you take one of the cards in your hand, and you either throw it at the other cards and meeples, or you flick it. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your card to land, so it's overlapping another card or within a thumb's width from another card.
Okay.
And if you successfully do that, you get to put your meeples or the colored meeples that are on the card on the table. Okay. You're also trying to knock off other people's meeples. Okay. And if you knock them off of a card, they fall into the lava and they're dead. All right. That's it, right? It goes around the table until you get to your last card. Last card, you cannot place any meeples on, so you're just trying to cause destruction on the table and knock off other meeples. The game ends at that point. You count up how many meeples you have standing up. They're worth 2 points. Any meeples lying down are worth 1 point. If your meeple is like just barely on a card, it still counts. I guess half your body is melting in the lava, the other half is flying.
You're Anakin.
you're Anakin at that point. Right. Yeah. It's basically I hate you. It's basically Star Wars.
It's over. I have the high ground.
Yeah. Super thematic. And that's the game. I've never played a card flicking game or a card throwing game. This is the first for me. I thought it was fun. I don't think it's a game you should, run out and buy. But if you see it on the shelf and you want a good time, yeah, check it out.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
You've never played, you said, a card throwing or flicking game.
I have not.
Does that mean that you're concerned about the damage to the cards, and would you sleeve this as a result?
Oh, absolutely not. It would probably affect the aerodynamics of the card.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. It would make the cards heavier. It could actually be better.
It could wipe
Knock
out
all
the
those meeples
meeples
right off.
Wow. This could be a thing. I don't know. I may have to do some testing of this.
So do you own this, or was
This was Matt's?
Matt's?
Yeah,
Your brother-in-law?
Yeah, my brother-in-law. We played it, his copy.
There is an expansion,
I saw that, and I don't know what it does.
or maybe it's just a different version. It's The Table is Lava Coconuts Edition. Different version, looks like.
Different version. Are you throwing coconuts?
Yeah,
Sounds
I don't know.
painful.
Right.
I mean, you say, don't rush out and buy it necessarily. But
Sure.
It looks like it's about $12.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You see,
you're not
going
to break the bank if you try this one out.
Sure, and it's it's definitely fun.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to try it.
Yeah,
Sounds hectic.
it is hectic. I suck at it. So, the funny thing about flicking cards or throwing cards is, you throw a card and it can go anywhere, right? The breeze
The
could
lift,
take it. The air conditioning could come on, and all of a sudden the
Somebody could
cards.
fart.
Somebody, yeah, right. And any number of things could happen. So I've discovered I'm not good at throwing cards, but it is kind of funny when you knock off your own meeples off of a card, or if you have this amazing throw and just the carnage on the table and, you're murdering all these meeples. It has murder in it, so you should like it, Tyler, right?
I don't get the reference.
I don't know, but
you're always wanting things to die. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, like the penguins in Deep Dive.
Yeah,
and
right.
else.
Well, I mean, they're getting eaten by sharks.
No, they're not.
Nobody says this.
No,
anywhere.
that's nowhere in the game.
Yeah. You guys didn't play?
I think I've read the rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I looked at the art. There was no shark eating penguin.
I don't remember. That was a while ago.
There's no penguin
was like
carnage
2
in
months.
that game.
Or rather, penguin eating shark. I hope there's no shark eating penguin.
But no, I actually think it's worth, it's worth playing.
Yeah, I would.
And it's a party game for sure. It's just dumb fun, and it's it's worth playing. So.
If I need to get over a shipping threshold, I'm going to add this one or keep this one in mind.
Do it. Yeah, it'll be your one and only card flicking game, I'm sure. So that is The Table is Lava.
Nice. Tyson, what have you been playing lately?
Similar to Kevin, I had some family over, which allowed me to get a game out that I don't often get to the table.
Blood on the Clock Tower.
No.
No.
Though I actually really wish that had been the case.
Okay.
But that's not the case
Hyperborea.
here. No, you want to keep guessing? Or should I just say?
Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know that one. Uno. I'm out. Okay, go.
Often don't get any of those played on my own table. That's correct. No, but I played War Chest.
Nice.
And I had not played my copy of War Chest since I first got it. And I think that it was in 2018 that came out.
Are your boards horribly warped?
Yes.
Okay, that's a production problem across every.
I had to. I actually left mine out.
Okay.
And put the whole game on top of it to kind of level it out before we ended up playing. But they were warped.
I had a terrible mishap where I tried to bend the board back to you know how you can slightly do that and
to
it'll bend.
homeostasis.
Right, and it creased.
Yeah.
It hurt my soul.
That's one I want to. I've seen mats on
Yeah, I
Etsy,
was
but
gonna
they're
say
like
that.
$40, and I just wanted to design my own and print my own for it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard, I wouldn't think. But so War Chest, for those who don't know, it's a game designed by Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson.
Solid
And
design team.
We've heard of those guys before.
We've heard of them, and this is one of the few games of theirs that I've played.
Not without trying.
Yeah, I mean we've offered many times.
Sure, you have. Let's go back to the recordings and see if that's accurate. Alderac Entertainment Group, AEG, is the one who publishes this one. And the art, though minimalistic and simple in this game, I actually like it. It's done by Bridget Indelicado. And it is a game it's a tactical bag building kind of war kind of simulation game, can be played between 2 or 4 players. And essentially what you're doing is you have a bag. In it, you have a number of poker chips with different unit types on them. At the start of the game, you get a set of units that you either draft or there's some suggested starter ones. In this, I only played with the suggested starter ones because I was playing with my brother-in-law who had never played before. And so we didn't do the draft, which I think drafting, once you get the hang of it, makes this game even better.
Yeah, and infinitely playable.
Oh, absolutely.
Replayability off the charts.
And then, there's a couple of expansions for this game that you continue to add content to this game, and infinitely replayable is absolutely true. But so you're each round going to be drafting or drawing poker chips from your bag, and you can either play them face up or face down. If you play them face up, you're going to be using actions that correspond to that unit type or being able to deploy or control the units of that type that are already on the board. If you play them face down, you get to do special things that can get you initiative or do different things to help kind of the whole situation of what you're trying to plan and how you're trying to do stuff.
Or add more chips to your bag.
Get
of
supplies.
different
From the supply, you can recruit additional units to your bag. So it's bag building, adding those to your bag. So it's really rather simple in concept and play, but I found that the tactical planning and everything that you're doing, essentially you're trying to control 4 points in a 2-player game, or I believe 6 points in a 4-player game, on the map. And once you've controlled that, the group that gets the 4 or 6 points out there, immediately the game ends. So it's got some really interesting units that have these different abilities that allow you to do some interesting tactics. And when you get stuff that you haven't played with before, it's really interesting to try and figure out, how can I make these units synergize? So like, for example, I had a light cavalry and a scout, and or maybe it was just the cavalry, but it allowed me to move 2 spaces quickly, and the scout allows you to deploy anywhere adjacent to a unit. So I would tend to run out there with my cavalry and then pop a scout down on a place and then quickly gain control. And it was a really interesting combination, and it was very basic, but like, it was interesting to see. My brother-in-law was playing a little bit more defensively, and he was stacking up a lot of his units on top of each other, so that it would have made him really difficult to wipe them from the board. But he had forgotten to move out before he started stacking it. And one of the interesting things is that you need units of the type on the board in your bag so that you can control those units more effectively, or you have a higher probability of being able to use them. So it's really interesting, this push and pull of, do I put more of that unit on the board and risk not having as much in my bag so I can't do as much, or do I have a weaker unit on the board but have an opportunity to utilize it more often? And I think that's really interesting.
So there's some similar vibes there with Undaunted, right? Sometimes you want a lot of one guy out there in your deck, and sometimes you don't. And
like, who do you want to move quicker? What's your strategy? Do you want your A squad to go here quick, and hold back on your B squad? Yeah, it's sounds like there are some
so how you choose to recruit is very interesting in both games. Logan and I have been playing this a ton lately. He loves it, and I really enjoy it, and I don't feel completely outmatched like when we play Unmatched, because he's got every single card memorized. But we've had some good games. What I love about it, we lay out all the cards and we do a draft at the beginning of the game. And so we've gotten to do some unique combos of cards. The card I hate playing against the most, and Logan often picks this one, is the pikeman. When you attack the pikeman, he dies, but he retaliates, and your guy dies. Oh, wow. And so if you're only attacking him with a single stack unit, then you're losing your unit too.
There's almost no point in attacking it most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice because it's like, well, I really want to move that guy over here on the other side of the board, so I'm going to attack the pikeman. He dies, and now I'm going to spawn him on the other side of the board.
Is it annoying? Do you feel like it's overpowered? Is it
just
not balanced?
It's just one of those like, oh, I'm gonna kill his guy, but I'm gonna lose a guy too. So he plays often with that guy. The Berserker is really fun. So you add all of your Berserker units, almost all of them, to the
chip on the board already.
To the chip on the board. And then when you draw the one you didn't add out of your bag, you get to do an action, pull off a chip, do another action, pull off the chip, do another action. So he can like move a couple spots and claim, or move a spot and attack. And
he does a lot in a little bit. And then the other thing that I think was really cool about that is, as you're taking him off, you're increasing your probability again to be able to deploy him faster or use him faster to your bag, so you can start doing more with him. So it's really cool.
It's a fantastic game. There are so many different combinations. I have the Nobility expansion and the Siege expansion. We're just barely getting into the Siege units. And then Nightfall is supposed to fulfill at some point soon from AEG, from that expansion Kickstarter they did.
And I've never played with any of the expansions. I've only played with the base game stuff. And
there's a lot of content.
There's so much content there. And there's so many variations and possibilities that you can do that, like, even if you don't have the expansion content, like you're going to get a ton out of this game.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is also on BGA, and Tyler, you and I have played this a couple times.
Yeah,
I've played it once or twice.
Yeah, I think I had 6 or 7 games total. I would like to go back to it now and play it now that I understand it a little better.
I still think that on BGA, because of the tactile nature of the chips and
They're hefty chips.
They are.
Right?
Oh, they're super nice.
And the bag building, and like I think it's easier to keep track of things, obviously, and so it can be harder to remember exactly what your strategies are on BGA, especially if it's an async game. But like, I still, after having played it again on the table, I want to dive back into this.
But
on
it's
BGA.
a pretty quick game, right?
It is, and I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Like 15, 20 minutes. So, all right, let's pick new units and play again.
And so playing a real-time game on BGA is
no, absolutely possible.
it's super quick, right?
Yeah. I haven't played 4-player. Have you played 4-player?
No, but I think that it a lot of games that are like the split between a 2-player or a 4-player game, I opt to just do the 2-player most of the time.
That's how I feel, yeah.
I actually think that there could be, if the people know what they're doing,
Yes.
and you can communicate with your partner well enough, I think there could be some really interesting experiences going on with the 4-player game.
So it's a teams then.
It
so
is.
It's, okay. Yeah, it'd be a team.
But
teams 4-player.
It makes the map larger, adds a couple of sections to the map. Not that the map is all that extensive anyway, but like it adds a few more spaces, and it gives the ability to each of you get a bag, so you have separate bags and get to kind of draw from your own separate bags, which makes an interesting strategy, I think, of, okay, you go for this unit, I'll go for this unit, and then let's try and work together in that way. So
I'm more interested now because a 2-player game, it's a little bit harder, right? I mean, I've played a lot of Undaunted this year, and it's been fantastic, but 2 players it's just harder to get to the table for me. But if it's 4-player and you have 4 players at game night and it's a fantastic game and it works well with 4 players, then it's a little bit easier to table.
And I can't speak because I haven't played 4 players. I've just read it and I've just seen.
We should try it out,
but I think think it's worth giving it the shot of doing 4 players.
And I would like to think that it still plays pretty quickly,
Agreed.
even at 4-player. So
nice.
It would be really fun to try out.
Cool.
When we have 4 players.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was that's War Chest.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't wait for the new expansion. It was my most played game in November, and every night Logan's like, "Hey, can we play War Chest?"
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Or we'll get a Dune Imperium Uprising game in, and then we'll play War Chest. And it's like a couple games. It's awesome. All right, so one of the games that I played recently, actually, I played this up at CabinCon, but it was after we had done our final recording. I hung around with Ben and Greg and stayed the last night and then left that next morning. We got a couple plays of a game called Tranquility in that night, and then we played Septima in the morning. I want to talk about Septima at a later time after we've all had a chance to play it, but I'm going to talk about Tranquility. So this is a fairly lightweight cooperative game. It came out in 2020, published by Board Game Hub. It has some very unique and tranquil art. It's peaceful and beautiful, I would say.
Who knew?
Yeah. So in this game, it's a little bit like The Mind. You can't communicate, but you're trying to cooperatively play cards that are 1 through 80. And then you have some start cards and some end cards or final cards. And so you deal out cards into equal piles, and you create this 6x6 grid by playing other cards as a border. Okay. And so you're trying to play in turn order cards in order somewhere in this 6x6 grid. On your turn, you have 2 choices. You can either play a card somewhere on the table, or you can discard 2 cards and draw 2 new cards, and then it's the next person's turn. So you're just going around and around. You can't communicate. So you take turns, and you each have your own stack of cards. You draw up to 5 cards, I think. And if you can play one of your cards, you're going to play one of your cards. So if I place a 7 down, I'm going to put it somewhere in between the 5 and the 10, right? That have already been played on the board or on the table. for every point away from the closest card that you play a card next to, you have to discard that many cards. So if I play a 7 next to a 5, I'm going to have to discard 2 cards from my hand. And then at the end of my turn, I'm going to draw back up to 5 cards. So you're trying to play cards in a 6x6 grid, so 36 cards in order before someone runs out of cards. Also, the first time somebody draws a start card and they are shuffled into each player's decks, the first time somebody draws a start card, they have to play it on their turn. And then collectively as the group, you have to discard 8 cards out of your hands. And then when you complete the game, you have to play the final card. And I think there's 4 or 5 final cards that are shuffled into the decks. And so you kind of have to hold on to one. Hopefully somebody holds on to one in their hand, but they take up a space. You have to complete all these numbers in order before somebody runs out of cards in their pile or before they can't do an action. So there are a bunch of different variations. This is a really lightweight game. I don't think it's very expensive. I had a lot of fun playing it. We played it a couple times and we were able to beat it the second time. It was just a lot of fun. It was a nice cooperative game to cap off the night after you guys had left.
So 15 to 20 minutes. So it plays very quick, right?
Really quick. Yep.
So when you compared it to the Mind, kind of the same feel for you, like, and which game would you prefer?
I think I would prefer the Mind just because the Mind has the potential to create just epic concluding moments.
Yeah. This one doesn't quite build
doesn't quite do that.
Like
yeah, because it's not like you're not playing cards at the same time. You're taking turns and like there's definitely like
there's tension.
There's tension. Yeah. We need to play either the 75 or 74, but did somebody already discard both of those cards?
Right.
And if you get to the point where you're filling in the 6x6 grid and it's hard to finish it because people have discarded cards or have been forced to discard or... Did
you guys finish it in your games?
We beat it the second time. I think we did win the first time, but we had played one of the rules wrong, so it wasn't really an
asterisk win.
Yeah, but the second time we did beat it. I think the more and more you played it with the same group, I think you could get pretty good at beating it on a consistent basis, but there are different variations that you can play and different things that you can add in to mix it up a little bit. We didn't do any of that, but I don't know, for $10-15 I ordered this. And it would be fun to try with different groups and I don't know, kind of like the Mind, you can bust that out at any time and anybody can play that game.
So I'm looking at it and it looks like it's probably, from what you've described, very light on theme, but the theme appears to be that you're on a ship traversing the sea and discovering islands and something of that nature.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it has as much...
It sounds like the whole non-communication thing is as thematic as SkyTeam, where you can't talk to your co-pilots, you can't talk to your fellow
that makes
sense.
Yeah.
We need to land this plane, but I can't talk to you.
I mean, it's dripping with theme like Silver and Gold is, right?
Yeah,
another island game.
Yeah, right.
Well, at this point, any game that requires me to not communicate in it, I want it to be as abrasive as these seem to be in terms of themes that... Why wouldn't I be able to communicate with my my co-people? The Mind is the only one that, from a thematic standpoint, I've played like this that actually makes sense because you're trying to kind of
you're trying to read somebody's mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. The card art is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And each card is slightly different than the previous one in sequential order. So
it is very tranquil.
It is.
Yeah.
No, the art I love. And the artist, let's see, who's the artist on this? Tristam Rawson. And
way to go, Tristam.
He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it looks great. It really
does.
I
know that artist. He's done some other stuff too that have been really good, and I can't remember what it is.
Kingswood.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Die in the Dungeon. That was one.
Brick and Mortar.
Oh, he did Vinyl and Longboard.
That's right. He did do Longboard. I played that one at Origins. Yeah, so that was Tranquility. If you see it or need to get to the shipping threshold, check it out. nice little fun cooperative card game to cap off the night with.
Throw that one in with The Table is Lava. And
That's
then
right.
You've got free shipping.
Yeah.
I like it. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I'm going to talk about another game. I actually haven't played this one recently. But it's a very,
It's kind of an asterisk.
Not very well. It is. It is. I'm cheating a little bit, but I've
been playing with it.
This is the played lately section.
I know, but I've done. I've played with it.
He hasn't played the game,
but I haven't actually played the game. I will explain. So it is Lorcana. There is the second chapter came out, and it came out the 1st of December to mass market. There was a pre-release at friendly local game shops, but I wasn't part of those pre-releases. So first time I could get it was December 1st. It has been super hard to get chapter 1 stuff. It's sold out immediately.
I gave up.
Yeah, I was able to get 2 starters. Actually, I was gifted those for my birthday. I still don't know how Greg got those. He was just in the right place at the right time. Super
Those Funko
surprised.
Pop collecting skills he's got.
Yeah, I don't know. He just lucked out, but I was able to get a little bit. But that's it until December 1st. So I knew it was coming out. I went to Target 9:00 on Friday. They had all kinds of content. It was awesome. So I picked up an Illumineers Trove, and what that is, it's 8 booster packs, and it's got a little storage solution for some of your cards. It's got a little booklet. So I picked that up. I got 2 new starter packs for Rise of the Floodborn. Picked up 5 boosters, and I wish that was it. But then I went later in the day with Greg again, and I picked up 1 additional booster, so that was it. And then I got one the prior day at Walmart. So 22 total boosters is what I ended up getting.
Holy cow!
Did that last booster have Shere Khan in it, or
We're getting to that. Okay, so we went back to Target, so Greg and I, and we were just kind of hanging out for that night. We're like, hey, let's go to Target, see if they have any Lorcana left. So we went there. They still had the display. There was probably maybe 15 packs left. So I'm like, okay, I know I bought a lot already. I'm just going to take 1 more pack. So I picked a pack. He picked a pack. We went and did some more shopping, and then I came back, and I was joking around with them. And I said, some people weigh these packs because the theory is the foil cards are heavier than the non-foil. And that pack's going to be heavier, and you'll get an enchanted card. You have a better chance of getting an enchanted card. So I pick up another pack, I put it in my hand, and I'm like, this clearly weighs more than the one that I first picked.
You were dialed in.
And I put the other one back. So we go check out, and there's a little Starbucks in Target, and we crack open our packs, and I'm looking through them, and lo and behold, there's an enchanted. I pulled like an Alice enchanted. Awesome. We look up like the value on eBay. It's like a $250 card. I'm like, totally worked for me. I knew that one weighed more. So we go, we did that. That was awesome. We go back, and I saved a bunch of packs to open with my girls, and we started opening the rest of the packs, the Illumineers Trove and all that stuff. And my wife's opening one of the last packs with my daughter, my youngest, and she's looking through them, and she gets to the last one, and it's super shiny card again. It's another enchanted, and it's Shere Khan. I look up a value on that one. It's like $150. I'm like, that is awesome. I start looking online. I'm like, what are the probabilities of this happening? There's people that have opened hundreds of packs and have not got an enchanted card. So nobody knows exactly what the distribution is, but usually you're maybe 100 packs and you'll get 1. And I opened up 22 and got 2. So super lucky, super exciting.
So are you keeping them, or are you selling them
I'm selling
to
them.
fund your habit?
Yeah, I'm selling to recoup the cost and maybe buy a few more packs if I can get them. So the cool thing about it is, they're really cool cards. I love the look of them, but you can get, there's identical cards in the set that aren't enchanted that have the same text on them. So there'll be like a rare or a super rare or whatever that is worth maybe $5 or less than that you can get the same card. It's just not the cool enchanted one. And I don't care enough to collect all the enchanted cards.
So it's like you could still build around a deck around something.
Absolutely.
Like that, but
it's not just unique to that card. It's like there's other versions of it that have different art, not as pretty, but to do the same things. So I have a decent size pool of cards now. So I built 2 decks. You combine 2 different colors. And so I did that twice. I have 2 decks ready to go. My oldest wants to build another deck. So she's going to take the other 2 colors and build a deck. And my whole goal was I want to get enough cards that I can play with, 2 of my girls, so 3 of us at the same time. And finally, I was able to get enough content for that. So more to come on that. But
yeah, I'll be excited to hear that.
But there's 2 parts of collecting these. There's the collecting part, which is super exciting and fun, and then there's actual playing part, right? And it's kind of like 2 different hobbies almost, So it's cool. I'm enjoying the collecting part.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
where does our Target actually put them?
So
I haven't looked at our Target, but I went to one close by my work, and I could not find trading cards anywhere.
So there's 2 places. There's one up by the registers that they put a lot of them, and then usually back by the games, they'll have another section. And that's how it is with our Target as well. And they'll stock in both places, which is kind of stupid. Right. And a lot of times they'll get a display, like an end cap display, and that's where all the boosters will be. And then the starter packs and the deck boxes and the card sleeves, they're all going to be in another spot.
So, and I assume if we went today, they'd be gone.
Yeah, they're gone. I've checked.
At least 3 other times.
That was really what I was trying to get at.
there's a restock of Chapter 1 stuff, and I just don't know when it's going to start hitting targets. And I don't have much Chapter 1. I'd like to, build out some of my cards there as well. But it gets to the point where it's like, okay, do I buy more boosters, or if I have a specific deck I want to build, I'm just going to go buy singles, right? Or you'll order, you'll go to the game shop or whatever. Oh, one thing, I went into our local game shop. I'm not going to say the name of it because really irritated me. And this is common with a lot of game shops. So they normally go for $5.99 retail. They were trying to sell each booster for $12.
What?
I'm like, you're kidding me. And I told him there, and I'm sure it wasn't the owner, but I'm like, dude, why are you doubling the price here?
Is this the extremely close store to
yes,
us? Okay.
The extremely,
that doesn't surprise me at all.
No,
Their prices are terrible.
It doesn't surprise me. I went to Salt Lake and bought a few boosters. They had some there, and they were selling them for retail. And I'm like, I should have asked what you were charging. And he's like, well, we want people to come back. I'm like, yeah, you take care of your customers, and they're going to come back. I'm not going to buy a single game from this other place because they're completely gouging. And I get you want to make money, but don't double the cost of a pack, right?
Yeah,
charge retail or maybe $1 more, and you're going to get that customer back. It's like holy cow. So that was a little bit irritating.
Well, at the very least, that's going to drive people online, right? Like because if I can buy something online and I pay shipping, it's not even double what the cost is of something. So.
Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous, but. They can run their shop how they want to run it. That's just is what it is. But I'm just not going to go there.
I bought like one game there in 2 or 3 years.
I have as well.
And their game selection has gotten better the last time I went in, but their prices aren't good. I mean,
they're not
comparable with other local game stores that compare with Miniature Market and Game Nerds and Boardlandia.
Well, I get it. They have overhead and they've got to pay their rent, and they have a brick and mortar, but other places are doing it, and they're doing it a lot cheaper than they are.
Yeah.
Their location, I think, is what hurts them.
Oh,
and they have a huge store.
I don't know how they afford that.
Yeah, I don't know either. One thing, Tyson would love these card sleeves for Lorcana. You get like 65 of them for $10.
So premium is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so it's your type of card sleeve, Tyson.
Sorry, are you sleeving them with your?
Yeah, just with Sleeve Kings.
Sleeve Kings.
And I think I'm not a big TCG guy, but I'm learning a lot more about it. And I think clear sleeves are no bueno for like tournament play at stores.
Really?
Yeah. So you got to get the
colored back
ones. Yeah. Yeah. You knew that already, Tyson?
I did.
Nice.
I did know that.
Have you been into the TCG scene or anything?
No, when I was designing card games, I also that was when I would get sleeves and stuff. And so I would talk to the local game store owners and get information about it. And then I had some friends who were very, very into Magic.
Yeah. It is a slippery slope because I like the meta. I've been like, I'm getting sucked in. Well, I'm like, what are the good decks, and do I have cards for or the good cards? And
Well, and what are you
It's
keeping
fun.
them in? Because you bought 22 decks now. That's what, 100.
Yeah,
80,
so it's
200
this
cards or
Illumineers
more?
Trove is awesome. So the Illumineers Trove has two. It's separated into two, and you can just kind of drop the cards in there.
Oh, okay.
And then I've also thought of maybe getting binders and putting the cards in binders. I've thought of doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
While sleeved in binders.
no, it's because I only sleeve. So here's another
What
thing.
you play.
I only sleeve the deck I'm playing. So it's a 60 card deck. So if I'm going to swap out cards, I'm going to build my deck. And if I want to tweak it, I'm just going to swap out cards and then sleeve the new cards. So I'm not going to sleeve everything. That would be
Silly.
yeah. Who does that?
I mean,
I thought about it.
I've got a box of like 288 10s or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I have a ton of them as well, and I just ordered more. So yeah. So I'm having a blast with it, and I'm excited. They just announced I think it's chapter 3. It's got Scrooge McDuck.
yeah, I
Boom.
saw that. That
Who
looks
doesn't
awesome.
want that?
Yeah, right.
Like 90s stuff.
Oh, dude.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
This is
That was before Tyson's time.
I know. It's going to cost me a lot of money. So I'm almost positive.
I figured I figured I wouldn't rise to your
I just kept on powering through because I knew you were going to ignore that comment.
So I went to a couple stores trying to buy this, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, it's
And I
discouraging.
gave up, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to do Star Wars Unlimited next year, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I think so. As I read more about it, and as I look at the decks people are making and the cards and stuff, I mean, man, it is really cool. It's easy enough to play for families, and there's strategy, and if you want to get into the competitive scene, you can really get into the competitive scene. So I'm firmly in the Lorcana camp, I think, and I don't think I can. I mean, I can't support 2 trading card games. There's just no.
Well,
That
you just
would be
keep
ridiculous. You
pulling
couldn't do
foils, and you'll be able to.
Well, right? That luck's going to run out quick. But so I don't think I'm going to do unlimited. I don't think so. But, that could change.
But are you going to start going to game stores and playing in tournaments?
Probably not. My main thing has been the theme works better for my family.
Yeah.
I mean, the Disney theme is just fantastic. The art's amazing. It draws my girls in. Like when they're opening the packs, they're like, oh, it's Moana. It's Maui. It's Mickey, and they were getting excited. Even my 6-year-old was getting excited because she recognizes these characters. So it's an easy sell for them, right? So, and Star Wars is just, they like it, but it's a little bit harder.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's
They
the reasons for me.
is and Cad Bane, and they don't know any of these people.
Yeah, I mean, my 17-year-old would definitely recognize that, but I'm trying to get my younger ones addicted. So, that's
Well, I'm excited to hear about future.
well, there'll be
Lorcana.
more to come here. I actually need to play the game more.
Yeah.
So, more to come on that for
If you're
sure.
willing to share your decks, I'd be willing to try it out with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, as part of the Trove, you get these really crappy deck boxes. But I'm using them because I don't have anything else at this point. So I would definitely bring it. It's a super quick game. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, my next game I want to talk about is not a game that is probably nearly as addictive as Lorcana, but it is published by R&R Games, which you recently talked about, Kevin, with
Nice.
The Floor is Lava, or The Table is Lava. This is a far more depthy game than that. It is called Amalfi Renaissance. This is a new game that came out this year. I actually don't know if it's fully hit retail in the U.S. I think R&R Games publishes it in the U.S., but it was originally published by Silex. And it's designed by Takeo Yamada, and the art is Urabe Rocinante. And this is a game that I first saw on our Discord server. One of our members of our Discord server, Carl, who also has a YouTube channel called Purple Moose Plays, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out any of Carl's content, he does fantastic reviews, and I would highly recommend him, especially if you like solo games. He focuses a lot on solo games and things like that, and that's how he was playing Amalfi Renaissance, was as a solo game. But one of the things that he said was really what kind of attracted to me to this game. He said it was a worker placement game in which your workers can go to places to do actions, And they can also be used to go be sent to be made as resources effectively. So you're using them, you're choosing, do I want to use it as an action right now, or do I want to put them as resources that I can potentially spend later? And so it was an interesting kind of hook, I thought, for a worker placement game that I hadn't really seen. But what this game is you are playing as a merchant on the Amalfi coast, and there are all these different cultural things happening during the age of the Renaissance, right? And so you're trying to collect art, you're trying to invite new influential people into your wings, you're discovering locations that are publicly available and some that you can privately go to, certain islands and things like that. And there's all these different little interesting mechanisms in the game. Essentially, each round, what you're going to do is there's a goal that's applicable to gain extra points that round, and then there's overarching goals for the whole games that you can achieve at any time at which you've got it, that you meet the conditions for. And throughout the game, what you're trying to do is send your workers to certain spots, your ships, and collect resources or other supplies to be able to purchase different things. It is fascinating, I think, how this game works, because you also have these public locations and private locations, and you can deploy what are called lighthouses in the game. And the lighthouses can go on to these locations, either public or private, and they enable follow actions effectively. So I love a game with good follow actions, and this game has a really good mechanism for it. You can't follow everything, but if you can get out these lighthouses, and you may or may not deploy any during your game based on what strategy you take. But I really like the follow action, so I tend to go for the lighthouses, and I put them out. And you can put them out on the public locations, which tend to have a lot of actions that are going to give you a more of a certain resource. But then there's also some private locations that may do things that are pretty cool, but they're only specific to one player. So you can go and discover these islands and put them in by your player board, and then you can have somebody place a lighthouse on it. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to access that action, is if they take that action and you can do a follow action for it. So it makes it really interesting, kind of the decisions that you have to make with this game. But I've been playing this primarily or only on Board Game Arena. And I've played a few games of it at this point. I spent a lot of time during my first learning game just going back and forth with the rules and understanding it, because it was a really intriguing mechanic that with the resource and the workers kind of a thing that, I don't know, there was just something about it that like really drew me to this game. And every time I've played so far, even though I'm really not that good at this game, I've not scored very well, but
I love the look of it.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it looks great.
I saw that this was on Board Game Arena, and I saw Carl post the game, and I wanted to play, but it was at this time where I've been trying to reduce the number of games I have going on, and
You don't want 20, 25 at the same time.
Yeah, I've been super
Especially learning
busy.
games.
Yeah, games I need to learn. I'm already trying to wrap my head around Barrage. So I didn't join it, but I think it looks beautiful, and hearing you talk about it makes me want to play it.
Yeah, no, I've been really enjoying it, and there's this is another game where you have to feed your workers, kind of a thing. So
That turns off a lot of people.
It does, but I think this is interesting because the bread essentially resource you're getting can be used in a lot of different ways, and so you may choose to starve out your workers because you can use the bread for another purpose or something.
Like feeding them sticks,
Gold,
or gold in Stone Age.
I could feed them a gold or take negative 10 points. What's it going to be?
Gold it is. Yeah.
There is so much variability to this game too. Like every part of the board basically has this kind of modularity to it. There's tons of cards that you'll never go through the whole deck or see all of them or even use all of them. A bunch of different islands to discover. Plenty of goal tiles that you're only using for each round goal. You're only using 4 of them, and there's like 15, 20 of them. And then there's like overarching like goals as well that you're only using 3 of. So there's tons of variability to this game. And each game I've played so far has played differently. It's one that I'm going to have to probably end up picking up myself because I support that. It's really good.
It looks like it re-implements Amalfi, and that came out in 2020.
2020, yeah.
So this is re-implementation of that. So very nice. I like it.
Yeah. So that's Amalfi Renaissance.
So the last game that we're going to talk about is awesome. I pre-ordered it from our local game store. And it said December when I bought it. And then we were up at CabinCon and I got the notice that it was ready to pick up in early November, the first third of November. And I was like, whoa, awesome. So I picked it up on the way home from CabinCon. This is a sequel to one of my favorite games, Dune Imperium Uprising. So we've talked a lot on this podcast about Dune Imperium. We did a snapshot. Amazing game. Top 10 all time, top 15 all time. Dune Imperium is a deck building action selection game that takes place over 10 rounds on Arrakis. Okay. It's obviously Frank Herbert's Dune IP. Dune Imperium Uprising was supposed to come out at the same time as the second movie, which got delayed, but they still released the game. It's got characters from the second movie that are all on the cards. Anyway, so the timing of it is after the first movie and after the first game. It is fantastic. Both of them play very similarly. The second one builds off of Dune Imperium. 10 rounds, you have 2 agents. You can buy a third agent over the course of the game. So you get 3 agent turns where you place an agent out on the board. So you play a card, put your agent out on that action that you want to pick based on the symbols on that card of the available choices. You get the reward from the action as well as any rewards or resources from the card that you just played to go there. So you take turns taking agent actions. Eventually, everybody can't do any more agent actions, and so they do their reveal turn, which they take the rest of the cards in their hand. You get to buy cards from a market, and you also may increase your battle strength because at the end of the round, after everybody's revealed their cards, there's a battle for victory points or resources or intrigue cards, whatever the card is for that round. And so you're trying to there's lots of resource management. You're trying to position yourself for the battles at the end of the rounds that you care about. You're building alliances with different factions, and you're trying to score the most points after 10 rounds. Or if somebody can get to 10 points before the end of the game, then whoever has the most points wins. Okay, so awesome game. I love this game. Dune Imperium Uprising takes it up another level from the first one. So some of the things that are different, you have spies now. So you can put out spies, and they are adjacent to other actions or groups of actions, and they have some cool abilities that you can do. So normally, if someone takes a action spot, no one else can play their agent there that round. But if you have a spy there, you can use your spy to also take that same action. Or if you take an action adjacent to one of your spies, you can pull back the spy and draw an extra card from your hand, which is very powerful. It's similar to Lost Ruins of Arnak. As you can add more cards to your hand each round, it's very powerful. Another thing that Uprising adds is contracts. So contracts, just different little tasks that you're trying to get, and then you get a reward later on. So temporary goal, satisfaction immediately when you complete them throughout the game. Just one little more thing that is awesome. The locations, I think the locations are better in this one. I think the cards, both the intrigue cards and the main card deck are much better than in the base game. They feel like they're on the same par as both of the expansions from the first game, which the combos and the different actions and the uniqueness of them got much better as the expansions came out. And I feel like Uprising just takes it up to another level. A cool thing about the expansions is you can play with them with Uprising. So there's a lot of awesome things going on. House Hagel is much better. That's you play against an AI in 1-player and 2-player games. The House Hagel deck is much more robust and has different decisions based on the AI's faction favor and other conditions that are going on the board. Just lots of cool things. There's worms now.
Right.
They look interesting when held at the wrong angle.
Right, yeah.
But they are cool. They don't ruin or overwhelm the game, in my opinion. I think maybe that was a little bit of a fear because they are powerful. Something cool with them, though.
Praise the maker.
If you win a battle and you have a worm in it, you get double the rewards of whatever you won. So that's pretty awesome. But it's not easy to get worms out. And they can't participate in all the battles unless the shield wall is destroyed. Then you can use them in all the battles.
So your original Dune in your mind is kind of obsolete at this point. The original one.
Yeah,
not the expansions because you can put those into Immortality.
Right.
But the original game you'll probably never play again.
Not much. Yeah, it will very rarely hit my table. But I love that. Basically the same time Uprising came out, they released the original game on Steam, and I've been playing it a ton on there. So
okay, is it more accessible for new players? Maybe
I think it might be a little bit easier for someone to pick up Dune Imperium than Uprising. So maybe that's the one time where I would put it out on the table if I had new players playing.
But would you be willing to introduce Dune Uprising
to a new player?
Somebody?
Yeah.
If they'd played a lot of our other games, yes, absolutely.
A seasoned gamer.
Yes, a seasoned gamer, someone that's been to game night a few times with us. No, I'm not going to put Uprising in front of them. But, just there are some awesome things going on. The House Hagel actually competes to win, which is really cool. And before, when you played, they didn't have a faction. Now they play as one of the player factions that you or your opponent hasn't selected, right? So they have unique abilities. There's a whole new set of player characters that you can play as with new abilities. I don't know. I love this game. It's fantastic. It's Dune Imperium is a top 15. Dune Imperium Uprising. It's in my top 5 easily. This game is awesome. Wow. I love it.
All right. It's getting to the point for me that I probably won't play this with you ever. It's like Dominion for me is Dune Imperium for you. It's like you're going to know everything about this game, and it's going to be totally uncompetitive.
I've got a couple plays. I haven't even seen the whole deck. I haven't seen the whole intrigue card deck. I've only played with a couple of the player characters. Yeah. I really am not that much more into it than you are. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It's cool. It sounds good though.
Around the same time that this was coming out, they released on Netflix the movie Dune, and I started watching.
Oh, that's
it
on
again.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah, and so I've been watching it in bits and pieces because I haven't had 2.5 hours to sit down and watch it in one sitting. So I've been watching parts of it, 30 minutes here or there or whatever, and I think that movie is phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing.
And watching it, and hearing you talk about Dune Imperium Uprising, I would love to play this again and even go back and read the book. And I'm excited for the second movie to come out. And so if you're saying that Dune Imperium Uprising is incorporating some of the second half movie stuff,
yep.
I'd be curious to see what it adds. And just from the thematic standpoint alone, I love Dune, and I think that the book is phenomenal, and I think the movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
To me, I just almost wish it was a different theme. I'm just not into Dune,
even if you, I was thinking about this, if I didn't like the IP as much as I did, or if you took the IP away and it was just some random planet, this game is still incredible.
Yeah, the mechanics of the game are great. It obviously elevates it because of the theme, right?
Yeah, I think it helps.
It's gonna help any game, right?
Absolutely.
If you really connect with the theme and the gameplay's great, it's gonna elevate it even more.
I can't think of honestly an IP game that I like more at this point. But
Star Wars Rebellion.
Ooh. Okay. Well, there's some thought that needs to go into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to books lately. I'm trying to get caught up on some podcasts, but my next thing I'm going to listen to is Dune.
Have you listened to the Dune audiobook ever?
I did, but it wasn't like the screenplay one. If there's one,
Not
of those.
the screenplay one, but it's an older one.
Yeah.
It's
I've done
got a
that
whole
one.
cast and a bunch of different voices. It's done really well.
Yeah, I want to do the original trilogy, and I don't know. I'm excited for the second movie. I can't wait to explore this game more. I still feel like Logan and I have so much more to explore. If we ever had the opportunity, there's a 6-player version with Uprising where you're playing 3v3. That sounds amazing. And I hate,
Whoa.
And I hate team game.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Yeah. No.
goodness.
I hate team games, right? For the most part. Mm-hmm. But I would play this in a heartbeat if I don't think that'll ever happen. But if it did, I would be on the edge of my seat because this game's awesome.
Very cool.
So that's Dune Imperium Uprising.
I think that wraps up what we've been playing lately. Should we move into our favorite games that we've played this year in 2023 that are new to us?
We've been discussing things at length, so I think it's time we move on. So before we get started, I actually wanted to go over... We didn't do an episode for this last year, but we posted on our BGG blog each of our top 5s. I don't know. Tyson, do you want to read yours first?
Yeah, so just a recap of
from last year.
Last year's new to me games, the games that I had on my list as my favorite of last year. And we should probably point out that not necessarily new to me means not new in 2022 or 2023, but rather the first time that we experienced them was 2022 or 2023, right? So the first one on my list was my number 5. It was Lisboa. That was the first time I played it, was in 2022. Unfortunately, I haven't played it in 2023, and it makes me really sad because
It's a beefy game, though.
It is, and it's so good, and I want to play it more. My number 4, though, is Dead Reckoning, and I also haven't played that in 2023.
But you got some content coming.
But I got my copy.
You got it. That's right.
Right after we got back from Cabin Con, I had my copy of Dead Reckoning, and I started reading the rules. I sorted it. I went through it. I'm excited.
Did you get that cardboard shit built?
I did.
Nice.
I did, and I didn't have any real construction issues.
Oh,
with
good.
It.
Oh, maybe they updated it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they may have tweaked it.
I
hope so.
I made sure that I was being extra cautious because I heard of some horror stories. So
apparently Tyler hulked it.
Yeah, that's generally how I put cardboard together.
Why won't you fit?
my number 3 from 2022 was Wonderland's War. Also, I haven't played this game, but I think that there's a pretty good reason why I haven't played this game.
Don't spend too much time on it, or Kevin's going to rage quit.
Exactly.
I quit the podcast. This is terrible.
Which is why I haven't played Wonderland's War. My number 2 was Cthulhu Death May Die, and this stands to be one of my favorite games.
Great game.
And it's really good. We've played it a couple of times this year, and it's been really fun. I love it. And my number 1 game was Stars of Ikarios,
which you sold.
I did sell, but that doesn't mean that it, I still think it deserves the spot on my list for that period of time.
Oh, you still think at number 1 it deserves the number 1 spot?
For last year, yeah. I think it was really good, and I liked it a lot. They even came out with a new Kickstarter version to update it.
A 1.5 or something, right?
Right, and it improved a lot of the things that I thought were wrong with it. Like, honestly, I thought that some of the narrative story writing things, there was a lot of typos. There was some weird things happening. They said that they fixed it with this updated Kickstarter, but for me, it was hard to get to the table because of how bulky it was, and I wanted to experience it with more people, but I don't think it was one that was going to easily get to the table.
Campaign games, just tough.
So one of our listeners, Dan, ended up picking it off, my copy off of me, and when he was over at my place for a game day, and I was like, you know what, I'd rather have somebody else play it who's going to get some more out of it than just to hold on to it and let it collect dust, because I'm probably not going to get too much more out of this. But I really enjoyed that game.
Nice. All right, well, I'll
Kevin,
go.
Go ahead.
I'll go. My number 5 for last year was Star Trek Ascendancy. I, unfortunately, as well, have not played this again since Origins, when I played it for the first time. Fantastic experience, super thematic. I see it in my game room all the time, and I want to get it out and play. It's super fun. That's my number 5. Number 4, Unfathomable. This is the kind of reskin of Battlestar Galactica. Love the theme. Love the game. I think it's fantastic.
I wish we would have taken that to Cabin Con.
That would have been a good one to play.
Yeah,
with everybody would have been awesome. I don't own this one. Tyler does. I'd played it anytime though. It's a fantastic game. Unfathomable. Number 3, Toletum. Toletum's fantastic. I still only have 2 plays. I know Tyler got a play of it at Cabin Con, but the 2 plays that I have of it were super fun. The turns that you take are just, every turn you take is just a great turn. Super fun to play. So that's number 3, Toletum. Number 2, Welcome to the Moon. I have gotten many plays of this since initially playing it. Haven't gotten through all of the scenarios yet, but I've gotten, I think, through 4 of them, and all 4 or 5, and all of those that I have played have been fantastic. It just blows me away how different they are and how different they feel from scenario to scenario. And they really elevated that, flip and right mechanic that they, the Welcome to, started, I think. I don't know if they started it, but the original Welcome to, they've elevated it. And this is the best version, right?
You don't hear a lot about this one. I almost feel like it's a little underrated, which is unfortunate because it's fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it really is. And we recently played this one at Cabin Con, which was a lot of fun. And then my number 1 new to me last year was Aeon's End. Fantastic cooperative deck builder, does some really unique things. You never shuffle your deck, so the way you discard it is super strategic. Haven't seen that in a game. Variable turn order, you don't know when your turn's going to come up. It scales amazing, 2 to 4 players. It's difficult, which I like that in a cooperative game. I like the feeling when you actually beat it, that it's an accomplishment. You have to cooperate with the special powers of everybody around the table in order to be successful. Just so much to like about this game. I've played it I played it this past year, so it's one I want to play a lot more. I want to get the legacy version out. I have so much content for this. Got to get it played. So that is my number 1 from last year, Aeon's End.
Nice. So my number 5 from last year was Lovecraft Letter. This is, of course, H.P. Lovecraft Love Letter, and it's probably my favorite version of Love Letter, and definitely the nicest version of Love Letter that I have ever seen. It's mainly because
amazing.
It doesn't even come in a bag, which is fantastic.
Right. I think I owned that for years prior to us finally playing it, and we actually only played it for the first time.
And amazing sleeves, nice little tokens,
They
chips, poker chips, are
really nice sleeves.
This is the nicest version of Love Letter you'll ever see, and the most unique, I would think. I've played it 19 times this year.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Number 4, Nova Luna, which our good friend Tobin at Origins in 2022 taught us. That was our first time we met Tobin, but I got a ton of plays of that in 2022. It was my number 4 tiled drafting and placement, trying to complete requirements.
It's almost like a set collection, even though you're not collecting sets, you're trying to match colors and
adjacent to each other. It's a fantastic game, on par with Azul, in my opinion. I have played that 16 times this year. My number 3, an outstanding train game, Imperial Steam. I have 0 plays of that. No comments. Number 2, Toletum. I recently got to play that at Cabin Con, and it was everything that I remembered it being and more. I love this game.
Good one.
Yep, fantastic board and dice T game. All right, number 1, Dead Reckoning. Fantastic John D. Clare, deck builder, card upgrading, exploration, scythe-like.
I'm ready to get this one back out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I got new content as well recently, and I can't wait to play this again. I did not play it in 2023, unfortunately. That was
so many new games.
Yep.
Good ones.
And that's my top 5 from 2022.
I think part of the reason, like a lot of my games I didn't get played from that were on that list from 2022, and I think one of the big reasons for me was because there were games that were contingent upon playing with others and had large play times. So like they were hard to get to the table, even though they're phenomenal. They are just, it's the space to be able to play good games becomes more and more demanding every year, I feel like.
Well, because there's so many new good games that come out every year.
Exactly.
And then you want to experience those, right? So
I think we rehash this every episode. Almost.
We do.
We lament it a little bit.
It's because we want to play it all. Maybe we all just choose to be retired for the next year and
family
just play
leave
games.
act or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's got to be a way
Let's
to do it.
let's ignore our responsibilities and do a gap year of board games.
Gap year.
This sounds responsible. All right.
Well, let's get into our new to us, our new top 5 new to us games for this year.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
No, let's do it.
Who's starting?
Kevin, why don't you start?
I'm going to start. I don't know if I want to start because I'm still waffling on my number 5.
Oh.
But I think. Okay.
Game time decision.
Game time decision. I'm going with it. So this one, I have only played it on BGA, and it's the only one that on my list that I've only played on BGA, and that is Wizards of Grimoire. I love this game. It is fantastic.
How did I overlook this?
I don't know. So this one it's designed by Cole Banning and Joe Banning. There's a bunch of different artists that are noted. I won't go through them all, and it's published by Grimoire Games. So this is it's a card game. It's a 2-player battling game where you're drafting spells and you're trying to attack your opponent and get them down to 0 life. What I love about this game is the synergies that you can get with your cards. So you have mana cards in your hand, and you use those mana cards in order to get spells out. So if it's a 2-cost mana spell, you're going to put 2 mana on that card. That ties up that card for the next 2 rounds because mana comes off of that card every round. There are ways to get mana off cards quicker. That's where the synergies come in between the cards. But what I love about this is it's like emergent gameplay, right? It's like you see things every time you play. You see synergies every time you play. And because there's so many different cards, there's different things that happen every game. So you got to figure out based on the spells that are available, how you're going to play the game. And it's just amazing. It's awesome. I love it. And I was lucky to get into this game after Tyler had recommended it right before the new Kickstarter came out. And I've ended up backing that Kickstarter, and I'm going to get the physical copy with a bunch of new cards to play with, which I'm super excited about. So.
Did you back it too?
I did not back it.
Okay, I backed it too.
I figured
You got it
it's a
too?
2-player game, and
Yeah.
I'll get it played potentially not on my copy.
That's why it's so good on BGA, right? Because you can play a 2-player game on BGA whenever you want, right? So little bit nervous about the 2-player, but just having the physical version, it's such a good game. I had to get it.
But it's kind of like it's an indie publisher. I mean, so it's kind of cool to support them when they've done such an amazing job.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get tons of plays with this with Logan because I know he's going to love this game.
Yeah.
So
I'm
excited.
I think it's easy enough to play. It's not a difficult game, right? So I could probably get some plays with my family as well. So that was my number 5, Wizards of Grimoire.
Cool. My number 5 is a game in a series of games that I had played only one of them before, and that one was Clank in Space. My number 5 and this new game recently played at CavinCon, Clank Catacombs. This game is amazing. I absolutely loved our play. I can't wait to play this game again. I'm probably still going to buy it even though Kevin has it. We got to play his copy. Direwolf, Paul Dennen. Guess what? He did Dune Imperium. Direwolf published this. I love the experience that this creates. You know, we played this game with Ben, and just the narrative and the story that we created, especially when Ben was like trapped for 4 or 5 rounds in a row.
I could have sent him off the map, but you know, I took pity on him.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was so much fun. So you're going around. The premise is you're going into this dungeon and you're trying to gather as much treasure as you can and then get out of the dungeon safely before the dragon gets you. And so you have health, hit points or a health track. And when that gets to the end, if you die, then you die and you don't score anything.
But if you don't get out of the depths, right?
If you don't get back to the safe area,
yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But you can get even more points if you actually exit the dungeon. The really cool thing about this version of Clank is the board is built out of tiles that you slowly add as you explore new spaces. And you get to place them where you want, or you get to rotate them how you want when you explore a new one. And it just creates so many interesting and cool decisions, creates this story. I don't know. It's fun. I had a blast playing this.
And the tile that comes out that you've got to rotate the tiles, or
there's a card that comes out.
The card that comes out, not the tile. That you have to rotate the tile that you're on 180 degrees, and it just completely messes with where you're going and the plans that you have.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes stuff like that in games would annoy me. This was just funny and hilarious, and it added to the story of the game. You know?
And I think that might have been how Ben kind of got trapped a little bit too. Was that rotating tile, but Ben and I both made it out immediately, and then we were drawing cubes out of the bag for the dragon damage or whatever.
If you make it out, then you draw, I think, 4 from the bag.
And so we were trying to get rid of Kevin before he could get to the safe area or get out.
Yeah.
But he made it out just barely.
Yeah, I had Lorcana.
It was awesome.
You couldn't pull my cube out of the bag.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. I love that game as well. It's fantastic. Just the discovery in it. The new stuff that it adds ghosts, it adds way shrines, it adds, every Clank game that comes out, it adds a few new things, and I think the stuff that this adds is really good.
Yeah,
and a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's awesome. It takes me back to my childhood. We used to play this 80s D&D game called Dungeon, and there were 6 different levels, and you'd go into each room and fight a monster and pull out treasure, and then try to get out of the dungeon safely first. And this game is just so much better than that, but it brings back those memories. And my brother still has that old copy of Dungeon. I've got the newer version that was released 7 or 8 years ago, but man, Clank Catacombs, they just knocked it out of the park with this one. So that's my number 5.
So we're going to see a pattern, I think, here with some of my list. Is I mentioned already that my 2022 list was games that I didn't get played in the subsequent year. I think I have a better chance of getting the ones that are on my list this year. The first of that being a game that I played 8 times this year, and it's a game that I came to love. I played it for the first time this year, obviously. Sleeping Gods. Sleeping Gods is a game designed by Ryan Lockett. He does the art as well, and it's published by his company, Red Raven Games. The reason why I had to put this game on my list, and I played a lot of good games this year, and there's a lot of games that could have been on this list, but I was specifically looking for what games stood out to me as games that created memories and are ones that I want to continue playing. And Sleeping Gods did just that. I had this game set up on my table for a month, and I just came back to playing it over and over again. It's really great because it's not like you play one game over the 8 games that I played was technically one game. but I could play it over 8 periods of time and just go back and play as much or little as I wanted. You start, stop, get in and get out of it. And it was really good. It had such a compelling narrative in it, and I could go explore things. And there's so much to explore in the game that like this game was just so much discovery, that there was so much interesting things going on. And I loved it, and I love the idea that I can start another campaign at a later date and then explore and find more intriguing things about it. Also, they just are, I think, starting to deliver or soon delivering.
I just got shipping notice for Distant Skies.
Distant Skies, yeah. So
Nice.
Did you back that?
I didn't back it, but like one of the things I want to do, hopefully in this coming year, I would love to be able to play this game with other people. I only played this solo. I'd love to experience this game with other people. And I wouldn't even feel the need to have to complete a campaign necessarily, but to have that cooperative experience with this game would be really fun.
Did you hear Tyson just ask for a cooperative experience?
Wow. Turning over a new leaf.
It's a new year, Tyson.
We had this conversation on multiple occasions. All right. This is a narrative game, and those are the cooperative experiences that I want. So Sleeping Gods is my number 5.
All right. So my number 4 is Clank Catacombs. So anyway, don't have to talk any more about this one. Obviously, fantastic game. Love every play that I've had of this one. So my number 4, Clank Catacombs.
I thought I had another minute or two, but
no.
We're just jumping right in.
We already talked about that one at length, so I think we're good to move on.
I have a pattern that I think you guys might pick up on at some point. My number 4 is another game that I've only played once, and I played it recently. And I wanted to buy this at Origins and wanted to buy it at Gen Con, and I didn't. But Greg or Ben bought it, and I got to play it at Cabin Con. Greg absolutely smoked us, but I love this game. So it's Revive, which if you look at the cover of Revive, there's like a flower and there's ice and snow in the background.
It's not that alluring.
No, it doesn't like scream at you what actually is going on. So this is from Aporta Games. It came out in 2022. There are a lot of amazing designers with names that I cannot pronounce, as well as some awesome artists. But this is a game it takes place 5,000 years after the world's been destroyed, basically. And people start crawling out of caves. Each player, you represent a faction that is coming to the Earth's surface and exploring. You're trying to find ancient sites. You're trying to populate the area. It's got a lot of interesting things going on. Lots of combination of mechanics. There's deck building. You're rediscovering technologies and upgrading the slots that you play your cards into. You're going up on technology tracks and unlocking abilities and different things that you can do as you expand and explore on the board. It is a lot of fun. Basically, the turns are really simple. On your turn, you take 2 actions. The options that you have, you can play a card in one of your available slots. And again, if you've upgraded those slots and the symbols match the card that you're playing, then you'll get additional rewards, which is really fun to build out over the course of the game. You can explore, which is revealing a new tile, removing the ice, and you can populate. You put your people out adjacent to existing spots, ancient sites. Then you go up on these tracks and unlock technologies, and you can build factories. Building the factories lets you go up on the technology tracks. There's a lot of cool things going on with this game. Lots of different mechanics. I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. I bought it from Miniature Market. I forgot I bought it from Miniature Market, and I also bought it from Boardlandia. So I'm trying to cancel with Miniature Market. I don't know. It's just really cool. You play through a 5-game campaign, and each game unlocks a new like module to add to the game, and then you have the final game to play as much as you want after that, or you could just add in all 5 modules. But so we played with just the first module, I think, and it was a lot of fun. Like I said, Greg destroyed us, but this game is awesome, and just the decisions, the choices. I love games. Well, it's a deck builder, but I love games where I can upgrade actions and then capitalize on those upgraded actions. And I don't know, this game has a lot of that in different layers, and it's just a lot of fun. So cool. That's my number 4, Revive.
Nice.
My number 4. So Tyler, you just had 2 games that you've played one time, right?
And recently.
And
yes.
recently. That's your
and
pattern.
are both deck builders.
My pattern is going to be, so far, the game Sleeping Gods I played 8 times. Inside Job, which is my next one, I also played 8 times this year. So Inside Job is my number 4. And this is a game that, for me, again, I'm picking games that one gave great memories, and also I think we're going to get more plays out of this, or I will at some point. And Inside Job, there has been so many moments in this game that have just been really exciting, and seeing the way that things interact. But it's a social deduction game as well, which I've been hoping forever with our group that we could find a social.
It finally happens.
Yes, it finally happened. There is a social deduction game that everybody agrees is good and fun, and so this is.
How many times you play this one?
8.
8 times.
Yeah.
Played it 14 times this year.
Nice.
I love this game.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
awesome.
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's quick enough and easy enough that we can get this played multiple times in a night when we pull it out, and we can play it quickly and teach new people. And I love that about this game, and I see myself coming back to this game again and again.
Well,
Nice.
the variability of it it's amazing, and how it switches up the game. So normally as the insider, you're trying to collect intel tokens. There's cards you can play where you're not trying to collect intel tokens. So it's completely the opposite. The synergies between the cards can be hilarious, on the different agents and stuff.
Especially if you add the different types in there.
Yeah,
right?
right. Well, that's where the game gets really fun. I mean, vanilla Inside Job is fun when you're teaching players, but where it really gets crazy and really fun is when you add those special roles in there, and it just completely switches up the game, which I love.
Yeah.
I would love to see them add a small expansion with more roles, or even just like a couple promo packs with
Absolutely.
more roles.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. This game is it's really fun.
It's infinitely expandable in that sense, in that you could continue to just drop a couple of promo roles, or expand a small expansion that few bucks, right? That you can throw in a few more of those, and that would be so fun. They have the blank cards in your deck that I've almost never done in any game.
No, but you come up with your own
roles.
Yeah, it's kind of tempting with this one.
It almost is, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's true. I didn't think about that, but because you always get those blank. They're like, what am I going to do with this?
Right.
I'm not a game designer. It's good. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, this one, it could be kind of fun to mess
No,
around with.
especially if you have a group that has played it many times, and you collectively come up together with okay, this is how this is going to work, and then play with it. That I could see that
And
making a lot of
I
fun.
would be willing to bet that there have been people who have posted on
absolutely.
BGG some of their ideas for blank
Fan-made
cards.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be
It'd be fun to
look
just
at. And-
borrow from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I bought this game too. My first copy, the cards were cut in half.
Yeah.
So I had
the
to
worst
send that-
misprint I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never gotten a game where the cards are literally cut in the wrong, like the top
You got
half,
half.
the top half of one card is on the bottom of the card, and the
Right.
bottom half of the other card is on the top.
How'd
of
that
the
get
card.
through quality control?
Yeah, right. There wasn't any.
Did you sleeve those?
No. Yeah, no. So I got a new copy, and this game, yeah, it's awesome.
It makes you wonder how many copies that affected on the line, because
Yeah.
you know it wasn't just one copy.
Yeah, it's a
that
whole
was-
sheet
yeah.
of, or multiple sheets, multiple sheets. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. This is I'm so glad I picked this up at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Because when we were doing our Gen Con preview, I had my eye on this one, and I'm like, a trick-taking cooperative game? I mean, that just sounds interesting,
Absolutely.
right? And so took a chance on it. It sold out, I think, the first day, and then the second day they got a restock, and I went in, and that's the first place I went to pick it up. So, and then we played it when we were there, and like, man, this
is awesome.
sets up perfect.
Yeah.
Like trick-taking, hidden role. Why didn't somebody think of this before? This is amazing, you know? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I suspect that this might also be on Kevin's list.
I suspect you're correct.
Should we move on to my number 3?
Yeah, let's do
see
it.
what it is.
Inside job. Oh my gosh. And that's all I have to say about that one. Tyler, take it away.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So my number 3, really any of the games from this series could be on this list as my number 3, but I had to pick one. And so this is the one I picked. It is Undaunted, Battle of Britain. This is, of course, the Luftwaffe and the Royal Air Force. It's a 1v1 deck builder from Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson. Just a dynamic duo designers. They are amazing. But this is, I think, the 4th release. Maybe I'm wrong on counting. Each one of them does something different and adds a little bit more or completely changes things altogether, but the main mechanic is the same. You building a deck, your army, or in this case, your Air Force. You draw 4 cards each round. You and your opponent each select a card that determines initiative for that round, and then whoever wins initiative gets to play the rest of their cards, and then the other player gets to play the rest of their cards. And you're moving units around on a board. Battle of Britain is aerial combat, and you are moving your aircraft around, and it's very asymmetric. The objectives that each player has to complete to win each mission is very different and very interesting. There are some really fun ones that we've played through. I haven't played through all of the missions, but I think I've played through like 9 of them or something. I love this game, and I love the feel of the aerial combat. The one funny part is, of course, if you don't have a lot of cards for one aircraft in your deck, it doesn't move very often.
It becomes a helicopter.
It's kind of floating in space, but whatever.
But I mean, thematically, you've kind of wrapped your head around that, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're flying in that space.
Yes.
So you're not actually stopped, right?
right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit strange.
But the cards have multiple different abilities that you get to choose from when you play a card out of your hand for that
multi-use
unit.
cards.
Yeah, so you're moving, attacking, recruiting, you're doing different things. We love Undaunted. We did a full episode on all the Undaunteds. Tyson loves Undaunted, and he's never even played it before.
This is a fair assessment.
There's no way you can't like it.
Yeah, I can't wait for the newly announced one. Well, a few months ago was announced Callisto 2200, where we're going to space and getting away from the World War II theme a little bit. Undaunted, Battle of Britain, number 3. Fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, it's what haven't we already said about Undaunted?
Right.
It's fantastic. Thematically, it's amazing. It's another deck builder, right?
Yeah. I got 3 deck builders on the list.
3
so
of them
far.
on the list.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's one of the best. Love Undaunted.
Well, I'm about to throw another deck builder on this list for me as well.
Wow, we like deck builders.
And this was a deck builder that I thought was possibly one of my favorite deck builders ever. And I played it this year for the first time. I don't think, Kevin, you have to worry that I took yours, but I'm not certain that Tyler didn't take one of yours as well. But the game that I'm talking about is Paperback Adventures.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I played this game 9 times this year, and I don't know that I'm done yet. I might get a play or 2 in before. But essentially what this game is it's a deck building game that takes a roguelike approach to it. So you have a series of minions and bosses that you're going through, and you're trying to basically spell words to defeat them. It's you're writing a novel. You represent Paige Turner, the author of this novel, and you're trying to go through and write this story to be able to defeat you're playing through the story of essentially you're going to get a random combination of boss and minion for 3 times, so you have a total of 6 enemies that you're going to go through, and they progressively get harder, and you're getting and deck building your deck to be able to be better and have the right vowels and the right letters in your deck so that you can spell the right words to be able to do different actions. There is some really interesting, unique things with multi-use cards here and what you can do with them and the combinations that you're playing in this game. I loved this game, and it created a lot of fun memories for me. And I only have, so it's like Final Girl in that it has a core box and then it has a character box. And I only have one character box, and I'm tempted to go and pick up another character box or 2 here and get this game out more, because this was such a fun game, and I would love to play this more. It's another solo only game, so I can't play it with anybody else, but I will be playing this game and getting more time with it, and I love this game. I don't know what else to say about it other than this is a phenomenal game.
Nice.
I
did not pick this one.
I was going to say, I don't think that one's on Kevin's list.
So it's safe.
I felt like it was safe.
It's safe. Okay, so my number 2, the fact that this is not my number 1 means that my number 1's pretty dang good. So 51st State is my number 2.
Man, how did
I am
forget
surprised
about
that was not your number 1. I was convinced it would be.
I love this game. This game is so good. I'm terrible at it. I still don't know if I've won, but I love every play of this game. And we've talked about it before. It is it's a game that's designed by Ignacy Trzewiczek. It's published by Portal Games. The Kickstarter for the Ultimate Edition fulfilled earlier this year. It's got all the expansions plus a new expansion thrown in. So it's set in a post-apocalyptic world, which I love the theme. The card art is amazing. It's a tableau builder where you're trying to get to, I believe it's 25 points first, and that triggers the end of the game. So it's kind of a race game as well. So whoever can get there first, it doesn't mean you're going to win. You got a chance of winning because you get there first.
It helps,
but somebody could overtake you if they built their engine better. So it's very much an engine builder. You're getting resources. You're putting resources on cards to get victory points. What's a really cool thing about this game is it's a resource management game, right? You get resources to start the round, and you have to use all of your resources. So you have to be very efficient in using them. There's certain cards that allow you to store resources, but for the most part, if you get it, you got to spend it or you lose it, which is a really cool efficiency puzzle, right? I love that part of the game. The expansions are super easy to add. There's like a New Era expansion. There's a Winter expansion. Scavengers we recently played with. All you do, you take a new deck, throw it into the existing deck, shuffle it up, and you're ready to go. It's super quick to set up. The game itself, if you play with experienced players, it's under an hour, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it is a meaty, satisfying experience in under an hour, which there's not a ton of games that do that. You know, when you find one that's really good, those are the type of games that I just love. You can knock out a few games when somebody, like this happened at Cabicon. We played 2 games of 51st State while the other guys were
playing Revive.
Revive, yeah. Which one game of Revive. Granted, it was a learning game, but we were able to knock out a few games. Love it. Love everything about this game.
It's phenomenal. And the fact that, like you already highlighted it, Kevin, the efficiency of this game, It's an efficiency engine puzzle. And then you're also efficiency like in your resource management, right? Everything about it is, if you can make it efficient, it's going to, you're going to maximize your turn and your play. But, it's interesting because that engine can go right until you get to that 25 trigger point, and sometimes you've made your engine last enough to get to 25,
and then it kind of fizzles,
peters out. Yeah, exactly.
And then Mark comes and wins.
Exactly, and it makes it so much frustrating because you're like, I was so close and I had a strong engine, or like somebody
raises
your
they'll raise your ability. Which that's an interesting part about the game too. Is like if you go out to a quick lead, then you become a target, and people are probably going to start to raise your buildings to disrupt your engine. Which, I mean, it doesn't bother me in this game because it follows the theme for one, And it's what the game's all about, right? You get a little bit of a bonus for being raised yourself. Not only do you get the benefit of the deal, but you also get ruins, which ruins are good because you can turn those into something else, right? So it kind of stings, but it's not the end of the world.
The more I've played it, the more being raised has become, I can make this work really to my advantage.
Right. You got to pivot a little bit, but that's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I love opportunities in games where they allow me a choice in a moment that I hadn't expected. And then I'm like, oh, I can now choose to go this direction. And if I choose to go this direction, it may improve things overall. And I think that 51st State does that really well.
Yeah. I haven't explored all of the expansion content yet. We played a lot of it, but there's still stuff that I need to explore. And I'm super excited for this next year to play it some more. Fantastic game.
I unfortunately only have one play of this. And I got trounced, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I think every other time it's been played, I've been at the other table playing a different game.
Right.
But I've almost bought it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I'm not going to because you have it, but it's awesome. And it might be my favorite Portal game.
Yeah, it's by far my favorite Portal game. Yeah. It's made me want to get out Imperial Settlers, to be honest, because I have that one as well.
I would be interested in trying.
That was on my coal list, but it's like I love this one so much. It's like I think Imperial Settlers does a few things different, where you have your own unique deck. I want to try it out before I get rid of it because I could absolutely love that as well. I don't think it ever would replace, but maybe there's space for both, right, in my collection. So it's made me want to try that one. So that's my number 2.
Cool.
50.
You got to talk about a game.
I did. It's amazing.
My number 2 game is also my most played game of the year. I have 72 plays of this, and it is Living Forest. And I think you guys got to play this for the first time in 2022.
We did, and both Tyson and I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a hold of this. I have a copy. Most of my plays are still on BGA, and that's actually where I prefer to play it. It's another deck building game. It's a little bit different, though, because you don't ever get to look at your hand and choose which card you're playing. Instead, at the start of the round, each player goes through a push your luck element of the game. So you're flipping over cards. Each card has different symbols on it that will make your actions more powerful for that round. But you can also bust. I don't remember what the symbols are that you don't want to come out, but if you get too many of them, and there are ways to cancel them out with some cards, but if you get too many of them, if you get 3 of them, then you will only get 1 action that round. Otherwise, you get 2 actions. There's different actions that you can take, put out fires, buy new cards, move around the circle and steal things from other players.
Get trees.
And get rewards when you land on them. Buy trees.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different ways that you can really win. You get 12 unique trees, or you put out 12 fires, or you have 12 of as a flower symbol on some of the cards that you buy, as well as you can get them on the trees that you buy. There's multiple paths to victory. 72 plays. I am not bored of this game at all. It is fantastic. And
you're not even talking about the fact that you have an expansion that came out this year as well.
That changes it up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've played with the expansion probably 20, 25 times of those games on BGA, and it's amazing. The reason I like it more on BGA is it counts all of the symbols for you for each player. When you play it on the table, there's a little bit of a headache there and player upkeep to try and track and see how many.
Well, and the trays for the trees, right, are also a little bit harder to do.
Those are fine for me. They don't bug me. But yeah, just keeping track of how many each player has of each symbol or each tree or unique trees, right? That's all kind of done on BGA. There is an option on BGA to hide that. I like it, so that's my preferred way of playing it. But this game's awesome. I've had a blast with it. The art, each card has these weird like spirit creatures and different creatures on it. Yeah, they're really unique art, and it's a beautiful game, and I absolutely love it.
I got to play this some more. Yeah, I've played it quite a bit on BGA. Not as many as times as you have, but It's great. Yeah, I love it.
And same, and there's reasons I think that it's won so many awards, and like it came out strong. And at first, I remember thinking that this game, why did it win so many awards when I first played it? And it seems like, there's a dominant path to victory here, but
there is. I don't think there is. I don't.
It seems really well balanced.
Yeah. And it's fun how you can pivot over the course of the game to try and prevent other players from getting to the goal before you do. And one of those ways is when you hop over them on the circle, you get to take these tokens from them, which have a flower or a tree or a fire on them. So, which you can collect. If you get the ability where if you're buying cards that let you move around that circle, you can get to the point where you have almost all the tokens that everybody started out with.
And when you can do that, it feels amazing.
You just like,
and because it synergizes so well, that like kind of path to victory, if you can make that work, sometimes it's not going to work.
Right.
But if you can make that work, I love the ability to then hop onto spaces that then combo into other actions to be able to either purchase more cards or get a tree or, put out fires or whatever it might be, like to help support the rest of the other things that you're doing. And I love that.
And I also love the push your luck aspect. You see Kevin's about to win. I need to really get as many symbols out as I can so I can have a powerful round. Oh, I busted. Dang it, I lost. But sometimes it goes the other way and you pull off this amazing turn, and it's awesome.
That's good. It's a great game.
So that's my number 2, Living Forest.
Well, my number 2 is I was really convinced Kevin's number 1 was going to be 51st State, and so I was going to box you out and talk about 51st State first, but you beat me to it. So I even told Tyler to go first because I was hoping that would come back, but didn't happen. 51st
threw you a
State.
curveball.
I love 51st State, and we've talked enough about it, but that's my number 2.
Okay, number 1s. Should we guess to see what we think everybody's number 1s are?
Sure. I think Kevin's is Stalingrad.
It's an Undaunted for sure.
All right. I'll do mine first, and then we'll go to yours. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Undaunted Stalingrad, my number 1. This game is fantastic for all the reasons Tyler mentioned for Undaunted Battle of Britain. The differences, though, in Undaunted Stalingrad are what I think elevates it to the next level for me in the Undaunted series. So it's a campaign game. You're fighting over Stalingrad. You're the Russians or the German army. And because it's a campaign game, you're losing some of your army permanently for the entire game. You're upgrading your army for the rest of the game.
You're getting green recruits that have like a shovel.
Yep, exactly. So your recruits could have a shovel. They have no range. It adds it. There's so much theme to this game. And it's such a good experience. So I had so much fun playing through it with Mark. We played 14 scenarios. There were some epic scenarios in there. One took like 2 hours to play, and it was just a bloodbath. But it was so much fun. This is one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time, really. It was that much fun. And it's one of those campaign games that I would happily play again. It's fully resettable. I unsleeved all the cards, put everything back, and I could get it out and start a new campaign. And it would be a different experience this time. I could play as the other side, and even if I play,
it has a branching narrative.
Yeah, and even if I played the same side, there's a branching narrative. You're going to go to different scenarios every time you play based on who wins the prior scenario. Amazing experience. I absolutely loved it. If a game's going to beat out 51st State, it's got to be pretty good. And this one was really good.
Nice.
So, Undaunted Stalingrad.
I picked Battle of Britain over this because I've only played 5 or 6 of the missions, and Logan kind of just destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I got rid of his snipers, and I think momentum is changing sides, but I haven't played through the full campaign.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to play more before, but it's right up there. Definitely. I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
And I figured if you had an Undaunted on your list, it was going to be Stalingrad. So Battle of Britain was mine, But this game is amazing, and I can't wait to get back into my campaign and play through it.
That ebb and flow, though, of the battles is so fun. Yeah. Like you're saying, like, okay, so the first 4 or 5 scenarios, Logan's kind of...
I think he's won 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 6 or something like that.
But when, like, you could easily turn the tide, right? And then you look back at that whole campaign that you played and the story that unfolded. It's just so cool, right? So, yeah, it's great.
I love losing units, but also upgrading guys. Like, that's so much fun.
So it's like a kind of a feel bad moment where you're like, oh, Dieter, you did you did well, but now you're gone. And then you get Maximoff, you are promoted, and you pull that card and then it's a super powerful card,
And it makes me want to go watch Enemy at the Gates. I still haven't gone and rewatched it since I started playing this, but it's perfect. It makes me think of that movie. So
yeah. All right, so that's my number 1. I think I know your number 1.
I bet it's pretty easy to guess.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, because you've been on this kick of 1 plays, I don't know that I am convinced I know what your number 1 is.
It's a deck builder.
Well, that's all of yours, every single one.
I'm thinking Distilled. Yeah.
That was okay. Yeah, I could see that being Distilled.
So it's not Distilled.
Oh,
it's another game that starts with D.
Darwin's Journey.
Dune Imperium Uprising.
Oh, Dune Imperium Uprising.
It's a top 5 game.
Exactly. It is a top 5 game. Well, why did I think about that? How is Distilled not on your list?
It's on my honorable mention list. I had so many amazing games to pick from. It was so hard to come up with my list.
Clearly Dune Imperium Uprising. You already talked about this episode, so it didn't even cross my mind.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That it just it was already talked about.
It's a D game though, so I was close.
Yeah. I don't think I need to say anything more. I loved it, and I can't wait to explore everything that this game has to offer, as well as mixing in the expansions. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm giddy when I'm playing this game.
Nice.
I need to play it. I'd be excited to play this one.
Awesome.
All right, what's Tyson's then? Is it Darwin's Journey?
I think it's Darwin's Journey.
Can't be. I first played that.
That didn't count as our guess then.
Well, Distilled? No.
I know.
Some weird solo game?
Oila or
something shiny.
Yeah.
The shiny game.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it right there.
Eila
and something shiny.
Yeah. Oila.
Nice. Nailed it.
It does look like Eila. The font on the box is really hard to read, and it does look like Eila. It's not my favorite font.
Nice.
But yes, Eila and something shiny. By North Star Game, designed by Jeffrey CCH, art done by Roxy Dye, is my number 1 game. I've played this 10 times this year, and I only got this game in the last quarter of the year, essentially, or the last maybe third quarter of the year. But I love this game. I think it is phenomenal. It is my favorite solo game that I've played. It is pure discovery. And there is narrative in this game that is emerging, and there are multiple different paths. There is so much about this game that I think is done so well. After I talked about it in one of our last episodes, I noticed that we had several people in our Discord server start playing it and started posting their pictures and talking about their experiences with it. And it just got me so excited again to come back and play the game and get more out of it. And I love this game, and I think that it is probably not one that at a glance most people are going to think, hey, that's a fantastic, amazing game, and it could easily be looked past. And I think that would be a shame because of what the game really has to offer. And everybody that has played it that I've talked to has raved about it, and they've also had a really pleasant experience with it. So if you like solo games and you like emerging narrative and discovery and choose your own adventure style, this is a must-have, collection essential kind of game, I think.
Nice.
I love it.
It's awesome. Love it.
Cool.
It's a lot of good games we played.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of overlap, but not a ton.
Yeah,
we had Clank, Catacombs, and what else?
Inside
Inside
Job.
Job.
Inside Job.
51st Day.
51st Day.
And 51st Day. Okay.
Yeah, we had a little
Well,
bit.
you guys lined up pretty well then.
So what are some honorable mentions you guys had?
So I have a list.
Okay.
I'll just go down my list. All right.
Okay.
And one I left off, Wizard of Grimoire or whatever.
Yeah.
That
would've made it. Yeah.
I overlooked that somehow. Voyages of Marco Polo. I absolutely love that game.
Okay. Yeah.
One or
I played
two.
one. I don't know that I completely understood everything that was going on in two.
I think 2 is better for me.
Okay.
Like I would take 2 over 1,
Yeah.
but they're both phenomenal.
I gotta play this.
I'm excited to explore it more. One, I absolutely love. Two, I could see the potential, but didn't grok everything, right? Voidfall. We haven't talked about that.
Okay. Yes. There's so much more to
There's-
explore in that one.
Yeah.
But yes.
There's some caveats there, but that game is amazing.
Yes. I agree.
Nemesis Lockdown. I loved my plays of that.
Okay.
Sea Salt and Paper.
Sea salt and paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Probably the lightest game that I thought of. Distilled.
Yep.
Darwin's Journey.
Yep, few more-
Cosmoctopus.
Yep. Got it. That one.
Septima. I know it
Haven't played it yet.
has kind of
Haven't
a
played it, yeah.
weaker reception, I think, but
I've heard some.
it's beautiful and I enjoyed my first play. I'll say that. So
Yeah, I've got a few, like all those that you mentioned that I played. Fantastic. Also, Disney animated. That
yeah,
was
you
like
loved that one.
that was a surprise hit for my family. That was so much fun. And it was one of the most exciting finishes to a cooperative game that I've ever had, which not every game's going to end like that. Like it ended for us, but it did. And it was awesome. So I'm excited to play that one some more. So that was fantastic. Her Story. That was another great one. I picked that one up at Gen Con. And it was just such a good experience to play with my family, just to learn about all these amazing women in history. What a great teaching experience that was for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, and it was fun gameplay at that. And that was fantastic. A little bit of a cheat here, but Anachrony Fractures of Time.
Oh,
we
if we're counting that, I'm all aboard. For that.
right. I mean,
absolutely.
it was
I
it
still
was
haven't had a chance.
It was an experience that we hadn't had yet, and I don't know why, because it was so good.
It was amazing.
And for experienced players, I think I only want to play with Fractures of Time. It was that it was that good.
At least
right?
with the blink, right? Like
Yeah.
I totally agree. That was
so much fun, and we got to explore that one some more. So those are a few that weren't on your list. That
I'm surprised you didn't say Woodcraft.
I also
you know,
thought that might be on your list.
because we only played it once.
Yeah,
and,
that didn't stop me from putting a bunch of games.
I know, but I guess maybe I didn't. We played that one a long time ago, so maybe it wasn't fresh in my mind. But Woodcraft was great. I love that one as well. Yeah.
So my honorable mentions, the one that I debated about putting in my 5th slot was Nar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've played 25 games of Nar.
Wow.
That's
And I love Nar.
That's
I
a good
like
game.
What it does, I think it does a really good job.
I haven't figured out a winning strategy yet, but that's a good game.
yeah. I haven't either.
But I feel like I've figured out multiple winning strategies, and they're fun to try and.
I feel like
pull
I've tried different things and none of them have panned out. So, but it's a good game.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. one.
But I played a lot of those real time.
Okay.
And so that helped me grasp the game a lot better and a lot quicker, and I really liked that. But Next Station London was another
that
one
one's
that I
fun.
really like.
Yeah, you're really good at that game.
I
And I'm not, but it's fun. It's really fun.
I'm hoping to pull off this one, but I don't think
It's
I'm going
close. It's going to be close, but
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Another one that I really liked was Sky Team. I thought Sky
was
Team
fun.
was a lot of fun. Sorry,
I'm sorry. What are you saying? Clear the runway! Clear the runway!
It's good. For Northwood, the solo
Yeah,
deck trick taking game was really good. I liked that one a lot. Endless Winter, I like, and then there were a lot on here that I could have done, but there were so many good games that I ended up playing this year.
It was a really good year. Yeah, it's crazy.
Fit to Print, that was the other one that
Fit to
I
Print
want
was
to play
fun.
more. It was fun. It was different. It was
Yeah,
a
it's
good
just silly fun
experience.
more than anything. Everdell, I want to play again. I do not want to play how we play,
I
agree.
right?
Yeah.
But I got out my copy and sleeved the cards, and I'm looking forward to playing the more vanilla version.
Yeah.
Because that game's I think, awesome.
Acropolis.
Yeah. Was that new? That was new for this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was my second most played, 24.
Acropolis was fantastic.
That was really good. Yeah.
Dragon's Breath. I didn't track all my games with my little guy, but
that should be on yours for
was
sure.
a blast playing that. And
I
that
love
game is destroyed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's played it like 100 times. And
Nice. I love it.
I mean, he turns 3 soon. And he's destroyed that game.
Well, it's great.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that my 6-year-old absolutely loves. That's the one game that we picked up at the local game shop. We went in there. We were having a daddy-daughter date. We went to In-N-Out. We went to the game shop.
Oh, okay.
I said, "Hey, this game looks awesome. Do you want to play it?" And then we went home and played it. Awesome experience.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I have one that I played with my kids a lot. Outfoxed.
Okay.
Either of you have played that one, but it's a deduction game, and my 4-year-old got it like better than my 6-year-old did, and like he was like, no, this is exactly what we're doing and how we're playing, and it was fun to see that kind of interaction with him. So that was one I got a lot of plays of with my kids that I liked.
Wandering Towers.
That one's fun.
General Orders.
Okay, that was a good one too. I like that.
Oros. You guys, I don't think have played that one.
yet. Gugong was one that I played for the first time this year, and I really liked that.
Shobu. Dude, there's out of 104 games that were new to me this year, like 50 of them I absolutely loved the experience.
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah.
How's Darwin's Journey not on your... Oh, you
already
said it
explained
wasn't.
that.
Yeah. Never mind. Darwin's Journey. Yeah. Red Cathedral. Expeditions.
Red Cathedral, that one's really fun. I mean, that's another fantastic Devere game. Three Ring Circus. I really enjoyed Three Ring Circus. That's a great game as well.
Thunderstone Quest was new to me this year.
Oh, I love Thunderstone. Yeah.
I don't know. So many good ones.
Well, yeah, we could talk for hours.
This is a long episode, but it's our last episode of the year. Next year, we'll probably come back with our Shelf of Shame for 2024. How are you guys doing on your Shelves of Shame?
One more game to play. I got my Shelf of Shame.
2 more games, and I don't think that either of them are going to get played.
I mean, mine's going to get played.
What is it?
Furnace. I could get that knocked
play
out.
that right now.
Yeah, right? So I think I'm going to get 5 for 5.
I've still got Lowlands and The Great Wall to play, or Great Wall to play.
I feel like, because Everdell was on my list, I feel like that should count for more than just one.
Yeah, probably should. Yeah, that play was a long, epic game.
Absolutely.
Anything that you guys are excited about?
Yeah, I got a few things. So I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
What's the best way to get a new game?
As a gift?
Or when your wife buys it.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So today, Final Girl showed up at my house.
Oh.
Are you kidding?
No, not kidding. And Alicia she bought it on her own.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great
Right?
news.
So what did you get?
Just the base.
Awesome.
That's it. So thanks to Shelly, I think Shelly had talked to her about it when they were out for breakfast or something. And Alicia,
yeah, they do that a lot.
They do.
They
that.
go out breakfast and then they go shopping.
That's right. That's right. But if Final Girl comes to my house because of it, hey, that's great. That's
awesome.
great.
That is super cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited that she's excited about it, and hopefully she just loves it. So yeah. I love when Alicia buys games. It's great.
Cool.
No, I wish that I could ever have experienced that. My wife will buy me games.
Your wife bought you an Acrony, right?
Right. She did, but she hasn't bought games that she wants to play.
Yeah. It's it doesn't happen a lot, but yeah, that was I was definitely excited about that.
That is awesome. Something I'm excited about, I'm sure with a lot of other people out there, the Mistborn deck building game was announced. It's going to be published by Brotherwise Games, but even better, it's going to be John D. Clare.
I know. I
deck building.
Yeah, this has so much potential.
It does.
I was super worried about this at first. I saw the announcement. I didn't see John DeClare's name at first, and I was like, everybody else was like, oh, I'm super excited about this. And I was just like, they're going to ruin one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Like it, in the way that it plays. I'm not Brotherwise. They are getting better and better with every game they make, but I don't know. They need a good name designer. And John DeClare was on there. And I was like, okay, we got a chance. We got a good chance here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's not a lot of details about it. I think it's Mistborn Era 1 initially. I'm sure if it does well, they'll expand that to other eras, and maybe even other Cosmere characters will show up too. Who knows? But
Well, I don't know. I hope they have Allomancy, Hemalurgy, and Ferrochemy all in there, right?
Yeah,
like there are different deck styles to way to play. I think that would be super
There's
awesome.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot they could do with it. I guess I've got to start Mistborn again
For the what time?
for the 5th time.
I think I'm caught up on all Sanderson content, at least all of the main books, Cosmere and outside of the Cosmere at this point.
I mean, speaking of things you're excited about, one thing I'm excited about is Defiant, which is a Brandon Sanderson book, the 4th one in the Skyward trilogy.
Did you finish it?
I am in the last stretch of it, and I'm excited to finish that series, and I love it. So I'm glad that just came out, and I'm really excited for it.
I thought book 3 was a miss for me, and book 4 got back to how good book 1 is, and even book 2, I would say. But book 1 was probably my favorite.
No, I would agree that book 1 was the best. I liked book 2 a lot. Book 3 became a little bit more of the same formula, and
is this going to end?
Yeah.
And it didn't, and then, but I think book 4 was back to form, and
I'm liking it
was
a
really
lot.
good.
So I like that. I love Brandon Sanderson, and I'm not entirely caught up on everything. At least probably all the main books I am, but I'm trying to get caught up with like some of the novellas and things like that, so that I'm all totally caught up with Cosmere, because I end up going to the Coppermind website to learn all about the everything going on. Yeah, and I'm loving it. I just finished the Sunlit Man, which was the 4th book, and loved
Year
that.
of Sanderson. Yeah.
I'm still in the third book there, but yeah.
I guess I'm only halfway through the wizard one.
Frugal Wizards.
Frugal Wizard. Yeah, I'm only halfway through that one. I think your older girls might like the Defiant series. The main character is a young girl, and it's laugh out loud moments. There are some amazing moments, and it's a really good series.
It gives me vibes to like Ender's Game, the first one anyway. Like,
I love
Ender's
Game,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and some but from a very strong female character who knows what she wants and goes after it and does some amazing things. And I love everything about the series.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Seriously, there are laugh out loud moments that happen, and it's awesome. It's a good series.
Yeah.
Cool. What else are we excited about? I got a Kickstarter that just came yesterday. So I'll Play. So I love trick-taking games. So I'll Play had a Kickstarter not too long ago, and I picked up 2 of them. So Lunar and Pies. And they look really fun. So Lunar, I was interested in that one because it's a team trick-taking game. Right up your alley, Tyler. Team game, right?
Yeah.
But it's 4-player. It's 2-player or 4-player. So 4-player, you're going to play with teams. Just looked really interesting. The upgraded bits on it are just ridiculous. They're awesome, chunky metal pieces that I'm excited to play with. And then a game about making pies. Who doesn't like that? And the upgraded bits for that are like these cool wooden pie pieces. And then it's got 3.14 on the back. And that's like, you add this to the cards, and you add like 3.14 to each card that you play a pie token on. I mean, it just looks interesting. I love trick-taking games, so I'm excited to check those out.
Cool.
See if they're any good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing that kind of has hit my radar lately that I'm tentatively excited about, but don't know if I should be, Kevin probably is more aware of this game than I am, is Colosseum.
Oh, yeah.
They're making the new
it looks so
art
good.
trailer,
The art.
published by Fantasia Games, who did Endless Winter and the Unconscious Mind game that I've been seeing updates on that one, and it's getting close to being done, and I'm super excited to get my copy of that. But it's coming up with the new version of Colosseum, plus this second game that is kind of in the same realm, I guess, Ave Titus, and I'm intrigued by it. I want to see more. I want to know about it, and that's I've always wanted to play Colosseum. So
yeah, I mean, we should get it out because I have the Days of Wonder version, and so the second printing was a miss. I think
that's why I didn't ever get it.
Yeah.
I had wanted it from the Days of Wonder version because I had heard great things.
It's a great production.
The Tasty Minstrel version was not one that like I liked the style, the art direction, anything about it. So I was like, I'm gonna pass on this. But so I'm hoping Ian O'Toole version. Yeah,
I saw that and I'm like, even though I have the Days of Wonder version, I know I like the game. I haven't played it for a long time, but I know it's a great game. So I'm very tempted with that. But I'll probably just stick with the Days of Wonder. But I think you should get the new one, and then we can check that out. And then there's the new game.
Right?
Yeah, a completely new game. So
and with Fantasia games right now, I'm paying attention to what they're doing because they're doing stuff that I'm very excited about. It reminds me of some of the early day Stonemaier stuff that like I was like always, okay, anything new I'm going to pay attention to. I mean, I'm still excited about Stonemaier, and actually one game that I didn't mention was my honorable mention one was Expeditions. I loved that play, would love to play more of that. But Apiary is getting a lot of good positive review as well.
I'm excited about that. I picked that one up recently.
Right? Yeah. I want to play that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff coming my way soon. Distant Skies, Sleeping Gods, Distant Skies, Witchcraft, the follow-up to Resist.
That's coming for me as well. Yep.
Looking forward to that. Lots of other stuff that's on the verge of coming. So I'm excited. I did pre-order Gnome Hollow. I talked about that one earlier this year. Got to meet the designer at Origins and almost a full playthrough with Jason. And that game is beautiful, and I'm glad that is finally going to be released next year. So
our copies of Skyrise are also
are they
approaching? Not. They're finishing up production, and shipping should start relatively soon.
Nice. I keep telling myself I'm going to slow down on Kickstarters and crowdfunding, and
it's just not happening.
I can't.
They keep releasing too many good games.
Yeah.
I've done pretty good staying away.
Have you?
So, yeah. I've done better this past year, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for Cthulhu Death May Die to show up.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so awesome.
Yeah. So that's getting closer, but I think it's still a few months off.
Cool. So, I mean, I think that wraps up the episode and our year.
Yeah.
It's been a great 2023. Lots of games played, lots of new games. Looking forward to 2024 and all the new games that are coming our way. And hopefully we'll get to play some of the old great ones.
Yeah, and if you're new to listening this year, thanks for joining us and starting to listening to our podcast. If you've been around since the beginning or last year, we're appreciative of you as well. So thank you so much for listening to us.
Yeah, and we would love to interact with listeners. So join our Discord. We got some good discussions going on there. And if you want to play a game with us, we're always on BGA. So hit us up for that as well.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want more Longest Turn in your life, please check us out on Instagram. Also, be sure to check us out on Board Game Geek, where you can join our guild, Guild 3947, and check out our blog, where we post all our show notes and occasionally post more detailed reviews. If that's not enough for you, we have a Discord server. If you want to play a game with us on Board Game Arena, join our Board Game Arena group, The Longest Turn. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Tot ziens.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Tyson, what have you been playing lately? Tyson, what have you been playing lately? Tyson, what have you been playing lately?
Little lower.
That's better.
Oh, yeah. Until you've completed...
This on the web.
Dude, I wasn't talking to you. What sounded like Siri at all?
That happens to you so
I'm
much.
not sure I understand.
I know. Number 4, Nova Lulu. Whoa.
Nova Lulu?